Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Team America, and I'm going to do a review for the Ashes of Outland Hearthstone expansion and how the cards relate to Arena. But we're just going to go by class and then end with the neutrals. So, the first card for Demon Hunter, the new class, is Immolation Aura. 2 mana, deal 1 damage to all minions twice. It's a pretty good um, AoE. You can get a reborn minion down to 1 and it'll kill them. I think that it will be very useful in Arena. Like Demon Hunter is going to be more of an aggressive class, so AoE might not be as useful to them. But it's a very powerful card, and it's not very expensive. Netherwalker is a good value card, being able to discover a demon. They're printing some pretty powerful demons. I actually think that Sacrificial Pack is going to be a premium pick for Warlock, just because there are so many demons that are getting thrown in right now. And I think there are enough good demons that for Arena, this could give you a demon that could be a potential win condition. And it's only a little understated, so I think it'll be a card that you'll pick quite a bit. Ash Tongue Battlelord. 4 mana, 3/5 taunt with lifesteal, and which I think will be great for Demon Hunter in Arena, because you're going to be taking base damage, and this is just like Sentient Shieldmaster is still pickable, and this is just like usually if you play it early game, it'll take 2 hits, so this could heal you for easily 6 consistently. Or if it's just hitting face multiple times, who knows? But you could snowball pretty hard with this card, especially if you're going Crimson Sigil Runner. 1 mana 2/1 Outcast. Draw a card. Outcast means that it's a new keyword. It means that the card is either on the far left or far right of your hand. This card is very good. You won't be able to consistently play it turn 1 if it's in your hand, though. But it's a 1 mana cycle, which is very powerful. Like, Kobold Lackey was one of the best cards. And just with an aggressive deck being able to cycle, I think it'll be very powerful. But you won't be able to play it turn 1. It's the only downside. Because, like, it can't be on the far right of your hand and you play it turn 1 most of the time, because that's going to be the coin if you're going second. And then, well, I guess if you're going first, you would either have to top deck it or it would have to be on the far left. So yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to play this turn 1. So probably it's a good card, but it's not necessarily something you would want to play turn 1. Maybe you just want to get the damage out there. Fullfang Warlord. This card is probably an auto pick. It's better than like the Burly Shovel Fist card. 8 mana, Rush, Death Rattle, summon a 5/9 Warlord with Taunt. So its Death Rattle is summon a Furious Etten, which was a 7 mana card, and was pretty solid. So for 1 more mana, you gain a 9/5 with Rush, which is pretty good. Like, you can even value trade it potentially, and then it dies the next turn. Then you get the Furious Etten. This card is absolutely busted. Like, auto pick busted. Twin Tyrant level. Maybe, yeah, I think it's just Twin Tyrant level. It's insane. Fell Summoner, 6 mana, 8/3, Death Rattle, summon a random demon from your hand. It's too understated and too expensive. Um, there are powerful demons that are expensive that would be worth pulling, but this card is just too understated. Like, it's not going to do any. It's too easy to do 3 damage with battle cries or just trading minions. And there are too many cheap demons, I think, to set up your deck in Arena out for that to be useful. Priestess of Fury, or Fury, yeah, Fury. 7 mana, 6/7. At the end of your turn, deal 6 damage randomly split among all enemies. This is pretty insane. It's like a better Despicable Dreadlord, except it's way more expensive. But like, you can set up your value trades so that, and it can also go face. But you can set up the traits that it should be relatively consistent. So we'll see. But I think it's very powerful. Like, if I was rating cards out of 5, I would probably give this like a 4 out of 5. Because it's above average, but it's not like bonkers like that 9/5 rush card. Pain, Sun Fury, 4 mana, 3/5. Charge, all friendly attacks ignore taunt. I think this card will be insane for Arena. Because, like, a lot of decks will rely on taunt to protect their face. We're probably already going to be pretty aggressive with the Demon Hunter class, and this will let you just end the game. I think it'll actually be kind of stupid at times. Because a lot of the time, in order to come back, you're relying on, like, a 0/2 taunt to save you, and you can... This is basically just direct damage. So, absolutely insane. Imprisoned Antian? I don't know how to say this. 5 mana, 10/6, dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, deal 10 damage, randomly split among enemies. So it's a good-ish control card. I think for Arena and Demon Hunters, this might lose them too much tempo. Because it's 5 mana, do nothing for 2 turns. But then you get the power spike later. But I feel like the dormant cards, it might be too dangerous to play this one that late in the game. Although maybe it'll be your finisher. But like, you play this turn 5 and it can't attack until turn 8. Or turn 7. Yeah, I think it were... Yeah, it won't be able to attack until turn 8, right? Because it would be dormant on turn 5 and turn 6, and then awaken on turn 7. And then you can't attack till turn 8. So, that's a pretty long time for the body to be doing nothing. You do get the battle cry effect turn 7, assuming you play it turn 5, but still, I think it's just... It depends, like, I think you're gonna want to be a faster deck. But maybe. So I would guess that this isn't that good. But I could be proven wrong. Spectral Sight, 2 mana, draw a card, Outcast, draw another. I think it's pretty good. Like, you can, for an aggressive deck and you just want some more refill, you can probably just wait until it's the far left card of your hand. And then get 2 mana, draw 2, which is very powerful. I think it's good. Furious Felfin, 2 mana, 3/2. Murloc, Battlecry. If your hero attacked this turn, gain +1 attack on rush. So either your hero has a weapon, or you use the 0 mana Twin Blades, or just your hero power, which is 1 mana. So generally, worst case, this is a 3 mana. Well, worst case, it's just a 2 mana 3/2. But like, it can be a 3 mana 4/2 with rush, which is really good. So I think this will be a staple, or a very good card in Hunter to help you control the board early. Yeah, very powerful early game. And then Pit Commander, 9 mana, 7/9. Haunt, at the end of your turn, summon a demon from your deck. This card is pretty. It's like a win condition for when if you do try to go towards a more value oriented route. Um, yeah, it's good. Not bonkers, but it's good. I believe that's the. Oh, there's still 3 more. Metamorphosis. Swap your 5 mana. Swap your hero power to deal 5 damage. After 2 uses, swap it back. This is just a good finisher. It's a little like Pyroblast almost. The legend, so you won't get it too often, but it's still very powerful because you change your hero power to 1 mana, deal 5 damage. I've played some runs recently with Mage with 2 Arcane Amplifiers. When your hero power is deal 5 damage, it's it's pretty insane, and that was a 2 mana hero power. This makes up. Although you do lose the tempo, but I mean, like the turn you play it, it's like 6 mana, deal 5 damage potentially. Which is weak, but then you get like a boost the next turn, or you can just be sending it face. So I think it'll be powerful. Warglaves of Azzinoth, 5 mana, 3/4. So it's basically Fool's Bane, but it can go face. Yeah, Fool's Bane was insane. This card is insane. It's an epic, so you won't see it very much, but and Demon Hunters have a lot of ways to boost their attacks, so this card will be very powerful, and you will not want to see it played against you. And then finally, Skull of Gul'dan. Draw 3 cards, outcast, reduce their cost by 3. It's powerful. I'm not sure how much it'll fit in Demon Hunter. It depends on the meta, but I feel like Demon Hunter will want to be more aggressive. And this doesn't fit super well in a hyper-aggressive deck. It will give you refill late game, and then you could play the cards because they're all going to be reduced cost. So it can give you gas, kind of like a sprint. So if this is like your late game card, it would be really good. I could see that. So yeah, no, maybe this will be very good in aggressive decks. So if aggressive decks can make it through, which I think Demon Hunter will be able to be aggressive enough. Skull of Gul'dan could be similar to Sprint, where you just wait until it's the leftmost card of your hand, and then you get to play it, and then either that turn or your next turn you get to have a super powerful swing. I think Demon Hunter will be powerful with their base set and these cards. If you can get like the Kulfing Warlord, will be awesome as well. So moving on to Druid, starting with Bog Beam. 3 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion, cost 0 if you have at least 7 mana crystals. I think that's a good card. It's solid. It lets you have tempo swings there potentially, and it can get you out of a bind early if you need it. So I think it's just a good card. Yeah, I think it's like average, or yeah, just like almost perfectly average. Maybe slightly above. Overgrowth, 4 mana, gain 2 empty mana crystals. I don't think that's playable in Arena. You can't just skip turn 4 and expect too much to go on. Glowfly Swarm. Summon a 2/2 Glowfly for each spell in your hand. It's really hard to get spells in Arena. So this isn't going... This probably won't be really playable, because you need like a minimum of 3. Like, it's not going to count itself. And Force of Nature is 3 2/2s. And like, you basically never have 5 spells in your hand in Arena. So this probably should never be drafted. Ironbark, 2 mana, give a mana 1/3 and taunt, costs 0 if you have at least mana crystals. Buffing minions is usually pretty good. I would say that this is an average card as well. Because, like, being able to give your big minions taunt, I'm worried about these cards. Like, you don't really want them in your mulligan. So, we'll see. But I would say that this is... I think it's a good card, but it's just cheap cards that you don't want a mulligan for are interesting. And usually not great. So I would guess that this won't be good, but I could easily... Germination. 4 mana, summon a copy of a friendly minion and give it taunt. I think it's good. But it's really slow, and slow druids tend to not work out. We're going to be getting a lot of the token cards back, like Acorn Bearer and the Forest Aid, so maybe token druids will be good. And this would not fit in token druid. This would fit in, like, big druid. So, like, with the Emerald Explorers. I think this card can be good. It might be too slow for it to be a consistent pick. I think it is too slow for it to be a consistent pick, but I think, like, it's basically Molten Reflection, which wasn't taken very often, but it had a place at times. So it'll depend on the meta. If it's... I don't think the meta will be slow enough, though. A Yassil Windsinger, 9 mana, 5/5. Your spells cost 1. I think that's terrible. Like, just not playable. But what druids do get is an epic that you will just hope you get every draft. Marsh Hydra, 7 mana, 7/7. Rush. After this attacks, add a random 8 cost minion to your hand. So, assuming your opponent has a minion on board, this will get to attack the turn you play it. It can usually... 7 mana, 7/7 can usually value trade. You might even get a second attack with it, and then you're guaranteed an 8 cost minion to play on curve the next turn. So as long as you're... And High Reek won't be in, so... 8 cost minion should be okay. Yeah, this card is bonkers. It's like Twin Tyrant level power. Absolutely insane. Fungal Fortunes. 2 mana, draw 3 cards, discard any minions drawn. I don't think this is playable in Arena. It's 2 mana, discard 2 cards most of the time. It's really bad. I think all of the primes are going to be really good in Arena for the most part. The first one, Archspore, Mishfin, 3 Spider Tank with Taunt, Death Rattle, Shaman, Mishi, and Prime into your deck, which is a 10 mana Taunt. Choose one, summon a 9/9 Fungal Giant with Taunt or Rush. So, a 10 mana 18/18 is really good. The Spider Tank itself, so it's just a really solid Arena card. It's just a super solid value Arena card. So, it's good. It's good. Imprisoned Satyr, 3 mana, 3/3, dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, reduce the cost of a random minion in your hand by 5. This is pretty below average. You lose a lot of tempo. It's really hard to set up your hand where you're not going to have a cheap minion in your hand. Like maybe like in standard you could do a Malagos deck with this, but I don't think this is very good for arena at all. It's way too slow. So yeah, Druid's not getting too much help. It's getting an epic, and epics you don't draft them often enough. They basic and I think there's still the bonus for the newest expansion, so I don't think Druid's gonna be in a great spot. Moving on to Hunter. Hellbore, a 1-mana 2/1 Death Rattle, give a random beast in your hand. +1. It's just a solid 1-drop. There should be enough beasts that you can have a beast in your hand. Average card. I don't think it's special, but it's okay. Pack Tactics, secret, when a friendly minion is attacked, summon a 3/3 copy. I think this is really good. If you can like pair this with a Primordial Explorer, you get a 3/3 with poison. It's a solid secret, like it's and you can also like combo it late game with like a Death Rattle minion potentially. So I could see this being very powerful. And because like just getting a 3/3 minion like isn't bad. So I think it's a good secret and will make Hunter annoying to play again. Scrap Shot, 4-mana, deal 3 damage, give a random beast in your hand +3/+3. I think this is below average. Typically hunters don't really like to like it's a slow card. And like it's a little bit slower than a mid-range deck. And typically mid-range is the slowest you want to go with Hunter. Control Hunter tends to not work out super well. So I would say this is below average. One sec. It went to a Demon Hunter card. The Grand Slam, 10 mana, summon 4 3/5 Clefwoods that attack random enemies. I think that this is it's a good card. We won't see a ton of it because it's a 10 mana Hunter card that's an epic, but I think it's good. As long as the only issue is if your opponent has something that has 5 attack. Like if your opponent has like a 5/9, this will be very ineffective. But I think it's a solid card. Magnatholion. 4-mana 5/2 Rush Battle Cry. Choose a friendly minion. Gain a copy of its Death Rattle. I think this is like 4-mana 5/2 Rush is okay. It's kind of like the Swift Messenger. And it is upside, so I think for Hunter this card is just solid. Being able to pair it, like being able to give it its solid Death Rattle will be powerful. So yeah, it's just an okay card with upside. So I think it's very good. Imprisoned Felmaw, 2-mana 5/4 demon, dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, attack a random enemy. So the other dormant minions I didn't like, but this one, it attacks the turn it becomes undormant, and it has the stats of a card that you would play on turn 4. So like playing this on turn 2 isn't that bad because it's slow, but then you get like a super powerful turn 4. So I think it's okay. I actually think this one might be pretty good. It is a random enemy, so maybe the card's only okay, but I think that this one should be drafted. Whereas I'm not as sold on the other one. Augmented Porcupine, 3-mana 2/4 Death Rattle. Deal this minion's attack damage random split among all enemies. It's randomly split, so it's mostly just I don't know. It's not very good. It's I would say it's worse than Spider Tank. So like it's okay, but it's below average. Beastmaster, Leorox. 8 mana 5/3 summon 3 beasts from your hand, or 5/5 summon 3 beasts from your hand. Battle Cry. This is not good for Arena. You won't be able to have big enough beasts in your hand. You won't have enough beasts in your hand for this to be any good. Most majority of the time. Zixor, Apex Predator, 3 mana, 2/4, Rush, Death Rattle, summon Zixor Prime into your deck. Zixor Prime is an 8 mana, 4/4, Rush, Battle Cry, summon 3 copies of this. So this is just an. In general, the primes just seem like they're really good value. The issue is like they're like a quest-ish that you have to play it, kill it, and then draw it again. So that condition won't get met very much in Hunter. But when it does, it'll be powerful. And then Scavenger's Ingenuity. 2 mana, draw a beast, give it +3/+3. It's pretty solid. It's a little slow, but +3/+3 is a good amount. I could see this being okay. I don't think it's like a must pick by any means. Hunter looks like it could be okay. It depends. I would guess that it will be below average though. Moving on to Mage. Star Scryer, 2 mana, 3/1 Death Rattle, draw a card. It's a solid card. Or draw a spell. So, it should be. I think this is just an average card, but being able, like. As long as you are a little picky about your spells, this could be good in your deck. Like, you're making sure you're getting your Flame Strikes, or your Blizzards, or your Fireballs, or your Rolling Fireballs. And the cards that really swing the game, or your Puzzle Box. So I think that this is a solid card. It could let you really control the game better. The new Mage Secret, Netherwind Portal. After your opponent casts a spell, summon a random 4-cost. I think this is solid. You can get Nozdormu. You can scare it, like. So normally when you play Secret, your opponent always plays the coin. If, like, you're going first. And this will punish that, so. I think it has potential to be solid. Deep Freeze. 8 mana, freeze an enemy. Summon 2 3/6 water elementals. I think this is below average, but I think it's playable. Because you can freeze a gigantic minion without losing too much tempo. I don't think 8 mana summon 2 water elementals is great, but. Or actually, no, that's how much 2 water elementals cost. Water elementals are pretty good. It's just, it costs 8 mana. But I think this card is solid. It's just really slow. But, like, you wouldn't really want to power creation water elementals. So I think it's okay. I'll go with okay. Incanter's Flow. 2 mana spell, reduce the cost of spells in your deck by 1. I don't think that's playable. You won't get enough spells the majority of the time. Even though basically all the cards for Mage are spells from this expansion, I think, almost. Almost all of them. Font of Power, 1 mana, discover a Mage minion. If your deck has no minions, keep all 3. I don't think this is very good. Your deck is going to have minions. Like, Mage minions tend to be better than neutral minions, but still. So, like, I think, like, you're basically always only going to get 1 minion, but you can still discover stuff like Archmage Antonidas and Caligos. So, if the other cards, like, are below average, I think it's just a below average card. But I think it, like, because it can win, it can win you games. that it might be draftable and okay, but typically below average. Apex Smuggler, 2 mana, 2/3 after you play Secret Discover a spell. Like it's Crocolisk with upside. I think that's very good. The secret pool should be okay with we won't have Splitting Image, but we'll have Flame Ward and the new secret. What is it? Netherwind Portal. So, and then plus the classic secret. So I think it'll be okay. But it's an epic, so you won't see it very much. Then Apex Blast, deal 5 mana, deal 5 damage. If your deck has no minions, summon a random 5-cost minion. You will never have that condition, and 5 mana, deal 5 damage. Well, it can go face, but it's also an epic, and it's below average card. Evocation, 1 mana, fill your hand with random mage spells at the end of your turn. Discard them. This card's very powerful. Like it's a late game card for sure. But like, if you need it, like let's say it's turn 8 and you need an AOE, this can get it for you a lot of the time. Or if like you just need a like 1 burn damage, this can get it for you. It's a very powerful card. It's a late game card though, to be clear. 1 mana, but is a very late game card. Astromancer, Solarian, 2 mana, 2/3, spell damage +1, death rattle, summon Solarian Prime into your deck. Solarian Prime is like Yogg Jr. It's pretty sick. It's a 7 mana, 7/7, spell damage +1, battle cry, cast 5 random mage spells, targets enemies if possible, which I think is incredibly powerful. Mage spells are solid. None of them buff your own minions, and it has +1 spell damage, so I think this is incredibly powerful. Yeah, targeted Yogg. Absolutely insane. And then finally, Imprisoned Overseer, 3 mana, 4/5, dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. Of the dormant minions, I think this one's okay. I don't think it's great. But I mean, like, let's say someone's trying to zoo you down and you have to drop this, and then, like, you know you're gonna get the damage on the minions in 2 turns. I'd say it's below average, but it's draftable. I think Mage is getting some good tools, and I think Mage will be solid in the next rotation. Like, we're getting Conjurer's Calling back, so that's cool. Moving on to Paladin, which is the current overlord of Arena. Starting with Hand of a Dull. 2 mana spell, give a minion +2/+2, draw a card. I think that's very good. You cycle +2/+2 for 2 is just solid. Like you would take cards like Earthen Might and Mark of the Wild just for the +2 mana +2/+2, and it was okay. And this cycles itself. I think it's very powerful. Imprisoned Sungil, 1 mana 2/1, dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, summon 2 1/1 Murlocs. So 1 mana in 2 turns. I think if you play this on turn 1, it's okay, but yeah, I think this one's okay. But again, I don't think these dormant cards are great. But you can swarm someone pretty hard with this one. Just because it's so cheap. And then it's like a muster, or like a Skyclaw or a muster for battle in 2 turns. So like, if you play it on turn 1, it's good. But like later game, it's too meh, I think. McGurgle. 2 mana 2/1 Divine Shield, Death Rattle, Shuffle, McGurgle Prime into deck, McGurgle Prime. 8 mana, 6/3, Divine Shield, Battlecry, summon 4 random Murlocs, give them Divine Shield. Which is pretty insane. I mean, Murlocs aren't great. I wonder if my Gurgle Prime can... if one of the random Murlocs can actually be Gurgle itself. Similar to a lot of... like, this one's pretty powerful. That's a lot of stats on the board. Like, even if you get average 2/2 minions, like, 4 2/2s with Divine Shield would be insane. Libram of Justice, 6 mana, equipped a 1/4 weapon, change the health of all enemy minions to 1. It can help with a board clear, but I think it's below average. Like, Varanus is 6 mana, 7/6 with this effect. Like, this does let you kill anything. So I think it's draftable, but I don't think it's very expensive. And I don't think making Librams cheaper is something you can reliably do in Arena. Libram of Wisdom. 2 mana, give a minion +1/+1 and Death Rattle, add a Libram of Wisdom spell tier. So this is a value generator. I think... what was it? There was a card like this, Explorer's Hat, which I think was basically this exact card for Hunter, and it was awful. I think it's too slow. I don't think it'll be playable. Eldor Truthseeker, 5 mana, 4/6 taunt, Battlecry, reduce cost of Librams by 2 this game, excuse me. Like, if you could get 2 of these in your deck, I think, like, the Librams would be good. But, like, it's a rare, and you can't do that consistently. It's fair statted. And maybe you can high roll the Librams, but I don't think it'll be super relevant. Eldor Attendant, 2 mana, reduce the cost of Librams by 1 this game. So I mean, this one you can put in your deck more easily. It's a common. So, I mean, maybe you can have some Libram synergy, but I don't see it happening consistently enough. Especially, like, you can't even draft this one most of the time, nor do you exactly want to. Alright, now this one would be pretty sick if you get it. Restore 8 health, summon an 8/8 Divine Shield taunt. That's pretty good anti-aggro. Although everything's gonna... yeah, the Divine Shield taunt. I think this is a solid card. But it's also really slow, and it doesn't have initiative. But I think it's solid. Lady Leadrin, add a copy of each spell you cast on a friendly character this game to your hand. This is an awesome value card. It's low on tempo, but you should be able to have some buffs in your hand. Or, no, Sound the Bells won't be. But yeah, this card's a pretty insane value generator, so it should be able to keep the game going. Like, it's not like you would rather have Tyrion, but I think it's a solid card. And then Underlight Angling Rod. It's a 3 mana 3/2, so it's a Fiery War Axe, but after your hero attacks, add a random Murloc to your hand. So it's a Fiery War Axe that adds value. So it's just a good card. I think, let's see. I'm not sure how Paladin will... I think that the cards Paladin gets will help it overall. I can't remember how good Paladin was. Like, how good Paladin will be with only standard cards. But I think that the cards they're getting will help them. I think Hand of a Doll will be pretty big, because you should be able to draft it quite a bit. It'll help you cycle and give you value trades. So I think that'll be a pretty huge card of Paladin, this expansion. Moving on to Priest. And Priest is getting a lot of buffs with their reworks, so I think Priest could be pretty good. Well, look at the cards real quick. Renew, 1 mana, restore 3 health, discover a spell. Discovering spells in Arena tends to be pretty powerful. Because Priest has spells that can swing the game so hard. Like just being able to get a Plague of Death or a Mind Control can be incredibly powerful. So typically cards that let you discover a spell are solid. This one, it might have too little of an effect, but it might be okay. Apotheos, give a mana +2/+3 and lifesteal. This Apotheosis, my bad. I think this card is okay. It's a very anti-aggro card, so. But I think this card is solid. Psych Split. I think this card is really slow, but it could do some pretty stupid stuff. Like, you could play like a Bad Luck Albatross and it lives, and then you Grave Rune it. And then your opponent doesn't want to kill it right away. So it lives again. And then you Psych Split it. And then you have 2 5/5 Bad Luck Albatrosses on the board with Grave Runes, which would be a total of 12 1/1 Albatrosses that will eventually go into your opponent's deck. So I think you can do some pretty crazy stuff with this card. Just because you can buff minions a little bit more easily in Priest right now. So being able to make a copy of it is slightly more valuable, I think, than in some other classes. So I think that this card is really slow, but it can be like a win condition if you play it right. So I think this is a sleeper. Skeletal Dragon. 7 mana, 4/9 taunt at the end of your turn. Add a dragon to your hand. It's a good value generator. It's like minimally understated. Although it's just asking to get fisted if you play it too late. But I think it's a solid card. It's an epic though, so we won't see much of it. Soulmere. Summon copies of enemy minions, they attack their copies. We'll have to see. I think this card looks really cool. I have no idea how it'll actually work out. It's almost like Light Bomb, but more interesting. Like this is like a wait and see, but it's similar to a, like I said, it's similar to Light Bomb. We'll see how it turns out. A Reliquary of Souls, 1 mana, legendary, lifesteal, Death Rattle, summon Reliquary Prime into deck. Reliquary Prime, 7 mana, 6/8 taunt lifesteal. Only you can target this with spells and hero powers. So the Reliquary Prime is like a Winged Guardian without Reborn, but you can buff it, so it's just another good statted card, good value. Like the rest of the primes for the most part. Dragon Maw, Sentinel, 2 mana, 1/4 Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and lifesteal. I don't know how consistently we'll be able to have dragons in our hand. If you can, like the 2 mana, 2/4 stat line is really good for Priest in general. If you can get it. It's just they don't print cards like that. But basically, if Print had a 2 mana, 2/4, like, just like textless minion, they would have been much more competitively viable for a really long time. So I think the card should be solid. Imprisoned Homunculus, 1 mana, 2/3 dormant for 2 turns taunt. I think this card's okay. but I'm not a big fan of these dormant cards. On Sethic Veil Weaver, 2 mana 2/3. After you cast a spell on a minion, add a priest spell to your hand. So you can also pair this with Shadow Word Pain, or Shadow Word Death. So like Lyra. So the value generation you can do is pretty insane. I think this is a very good card. And then Dragonmaw Overseer, 3 mana 2/2 at the end of your turn. Give another friendly minion +2/2. It's like Shadow Ascendant, but better, I think. So I think this card's very powerful. If you can keep it alive, you can snowball the game. So plus, like in Battlegrounds, like if you get something down early, that gives you +2/2 every turn. It's super powerful, and it's even more powerful in a standard game. Very strong. So I think Priest is going to be very solid in the next rotation. I might actually enjoy playing Priest. Okay, moving on to Rogue, starting with Spy Mistress, 1 mana 3/1 stealth. Strictly more powerful than Worgen Infiltrator, which was already pretty good in Rogue most of the time. So this card it's very good. Ash Tongue Slayer, 2 mana 3/2 Battle Cry. Give a stealth minion +3 attack and immune turn. We'll see. I mean, it's just a 2 mana 3/2 with upside. Having a stealth minion isn't super easy, but there are some stealth minions this expansion, obviously, just like the one we saw, like Worgen Infiltrator. So if you can get the effect off, it's a powerful card. Most stealth minions don't have a lot of health though, so like keeping them alive isn't normally a huge deal, because pings can kill them off a lot of the time. But +3 attack and immune is no joke. Like it's a lot of attack, and it's an effect for a not understated minion. Powerful. And Rogue has secrets this expansion. They're getting 3 secrets. This one is my favorite by far. Bamboozle. When one of your minions is attacked, transform it into a random one that costs 3 more. So it's like explosive evolution on a minion they're attacking. So like they're gonna try and value trade, and then it's just like boom, like they try to kill a 1-drop, and then Nozdormu out of nowhere. I wish it wasn't an epic, because it's gonna be so much fun. Slash frustrating. 30 tricks, 2 mana secret after your opponent. Cast a spell, draw 2 cards. I think it's okay. But I'm a little worried, because like rogues are generally all about tempo. So you would want to play this later game. So we'll see. So poor Ravenholt Assassin, but we got the Cursed Vagrant, 7 mana, 7/5. Death Rattle summon a 7/5 Shadow with Stealth, which is a Ravenholt Assassin. So for 7 mana, you get for 0 mana, you get a 7/5 on top of Ravenholt. This is what Ravenholt Assassin should have been. This card is very powerful. It's not quite. Don't know if I would say it's like Twin Tyrant power, but I think it's insanely powerful. I almost auto pick. The only thing is it's a little slow for Rogue, but it is so powerful. So many stats. Brightheart Sage, 3 mana, 3/3 Battle Cry. If you control the stealth minion, draw 2 cards. I think it's good. The condition might be too hard though. It's also an epic. But Like, drawing 2 cards without too much tempo loss isn't. So, you might be able to set it up. I think it'll be a fun card. Akama, 3-mana, 3/4, Stealth, Death Rattle, Shaman, Akama Prime into deck. Akama Prime, 6-mana, 6/5, permanently stealthed. So, pretty sick card. I like it a lot. I like the flavor of it. That, like, your opponent basically can't interact with. Like, multiple decks. Most decks in Arena won't be able to interact with this card. So, it's like a win condition. Very powerful. Shadow Jeweler, Hanar. 2-mana, 1/5. After you play a secret, discover a secret from a different class. It's a decent value generator, but usually you can pick a legendary that'll be better than it. I mean, it's like, it's not the worst, but it's below average, I would say. Blackjack Stunner. This is the test of whether you get secrets consistently. Because it's a 1-mana 1/2 Battlecry. If you control a secret, return a minion to its owner's hand. It costs 2 more, which is absolutely insane. Like, if you can get secrets consistently, you want this card in your deck. Because holy smokes. Like, it would be worth it if it costed 3 mana, I think. Which is the cost of the secret and the card itself. Like, this effect is so much tempo. Like, they can't play the card easily. If you, like, it's game winning to get the combo off. This card, I don't know, it might be too hard to get off consistently, but I think it's insane. And then the last secret is after your opponent plays a minion, summon a 2/3 ambusher with poisonous. Yeah, so it's similar to Envenom, but it's when they play the minion. So if you play this early game, there's a chance that you get to attack first rather than them having more initiative on it. But yeah, I think it's just an okay secret. So I think it's good enough. It's a rare though. The issue is that the secret that's a common doesn't affect the board enough, I feel like. The other two do affect the board. So, the Cursed Vagrant, I think, is the biggest card. And the Spy Mistress. Because those are the commons, and they're both very powerful. And you're getting Evil Miscreant back as Rogue. So I think Rogue is in a good position to be a top 3 class when the rotation happens. I'm pretty excited. Rogue's my favorite class to play in Arena. So I'm hoping that it will return. Moving on to Shaman. March Spawn, 3-mana, 3/4. If you cast a spell last turn, discover a spell. Discovering a spell is very powerful. Having cast a spell a previous turn is not great, but it's good enough stats that you can play it on its own. And so I think it's an above average card. Serpent, Shrine Portal. Deal 3 damage, summon a random 3-cost reload 1. Yeah, this is powerful. 4-mana deal. So yeah, it's like a Fire Plume Fiend. I think it's very good. Totemic Reflection. 3-mana spell, give a minion +2/+2. If it's a totem, summon a copy of it. Like, if you get this on Healing Totem, it's okay. Basically, the totem, you want to have a totem that can attack that in order for this to be okay. I would say this card is below average, though. Did they get any totems? No. Yeah, I think this card's below average, but it's okay. Vivid Spores, 4 mana, give your minions Death Rattle, resummon this. That's pretty disgusting. It's like I don't know what the card is, but there's a 2 mana card that has this effect. And this is a 4 mana card that has this effect on all of your minions. Like, imagine having a living fountain out there and then you play this. And, like, shamans tend to be a little bit wider on the board in general. So, I think you can make, like, a token shaman deck even better with this. And I think Rise of Shadows might have had a card where you can make it so your minions have Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 Murloc. I'm not sure if it did or not. But, yeah, like, setting up Bloodlust might be a consistent win condition that you can set up thanks to cards like this. Because making your board really sticky is very powerful. It's like a snowbally card, but it seems very powerful. A Shattered Rumbler, 5 mana, 4/6 Battlecry. If you cast a spell last turn, deal 2 damage to all minions. It depends on how hard that condition will be to meet, but that's a very powerful Battlecry. It'd be a pretty disgusting card, but yeah. It's what, so like you have a coin, but it's like you can't coin this out. You'd have to coin out another 5-drop. So, and then you would have to play this on your normal 5 mana turn, something. So I feel like playing a spell the previous turn is a harder condition than people might think. But maybe it'll be easier than I expect. We'll see. Especially in Arena, though, it can be hard to play spells. The Lurker below, 6 mana, 6/3, Battlecry, deal 3 damage to an enemy minion. If it dies, repeat on one of its neighbors. I think this card is awesome. Super powerful. Like a fire elemental, but it can potentially do even more. Does anyone know if it keeps repeating? That would be insane. I would think that it would repeat. Like, let's say like you have all 2/2s and you just like kill them all. I think it would keep repeating, so yeah, I think this isn't super powerful. Bogstruck. Blacker, 3 mana, 3/3 Battlecry. Transform adjacent minions into random ones that cost 1 more. This is super powerful. This, you want this in Arena. It'll be insane. Like, you value trade and then you evolve them. It'll be very frustrating. Bog Spine Knuckles, 5 mana, 4/2 weapon. After your hero attacks, transform your minions into ones that cost 1 more. So not one of your minions, all of your minions. So 5 mana. This card's very powerful. You do need stuff on the board first. Well, you don't actually need stuff on the board because you could play this and just hold it potentially. It's an epic, unfortunately, or fortunately, because I don't play as much Shaman. But I think this card will have some very fun and unfun situations, depending on which side of it you're. I think it's very powerful. A Torrent, 5 mana, deal 8 damage to a minion, cost 3 less if you cast a spell last turn. Again, it depends on how hard it is to set up the spell thing, but 2 mana, deal 8 damage to a minion is no joke. 5 mana, deal 8 damage to a minion is acceptable, as we learned with Flamelands. So this card's just good with upside. Lady Bashij. 3 mana, 4/3, spell damage +1, Death Rattle, summon. I can't say that. Prime into your deck, which is a 7 mana 5/4 battle cry, draw 3 spells, reduce cost by. So I think this is one of the worst ones because having 3 spells in your deck is pretty difficult in Arena, especially at the time that you draw the second half of a minion. So I think this is one of the not as good ones. Because it's just hard to have spells in your deck. Yeah. But yeah, so I think Warlock has potential. I think that the Bogstraw Clacker is very good. And the Marsh Spawn good. And the Portal. And they're gonna get Living Fountain back. So I think Shaman could be in an above average spot, which it normally isn't. Okay, now back to Warlock. Starting with Unstable Fellbolt, 1 mana, deal 3 damage to an enemy minion and a random friendly one. That doesn't seem great. Like, you can play it when you have an empty board, but it seems not good. So maybe you just plan on playing it before you play. Like, it's cheap enough that maybe you can just play it before you play a minion, but it doesn't feel good. It's 3 damage to a friendly minion is a lot. Enhanced Dreadlord, 8 mana 5/7. Haunt, Death Rattle, summon a 5/5 Dreadlord with Lifesteal. Pretty understated, but it's a defensive card. I would probably below average. But we'll see. I mean, it is sticky, and the second half does have Lifesteal. But it's kind of slow. Like, I think the power level of cards in Arena is going to be pretty high. Like, and lackeys are going to be everywhere. I'm not sure how the slow cards are going to... Hand of Gul'dan, when you play or discard this, draw 3 cards. I think discarding it is going to be quite difficult. So I would have to say this is below average. Like, I know that there's a card that will make it easier to discard, but we'll see. Dark Glare, 3 mana 3/4 after your hero takes damage, refresh 2 mana crystals. This card is insane. Fortunately, it's an epic, so we won't see it much, but it is super powerful. Like, free hero power. Bonkers. One, let's see. Nightshade, wow. This is super well stated. Nightshade Matron, Rush, Battlecry, discard your highest cost card. So that can be pretty bad, but it's got a lot of stats. Like, what was it? Doomguard, 5 mana, 5/7, discard 2 cards was playable. It is a lot of the time discarding your best card. If you can't, like, it's a common, and so is Hand of Gul'dan. So it might not be too hard to pair the two. I think it's powerful enough that you draft it even though you're discarding a card. It's very powerful. Kenrathad, Ebenlock, your demons cost 1 less. It's not like a battle cry, it's while he's alive. Death Rattle Shaman, summon, shuffle, counter Prime into your deck, counter Prime, 8 mana 7/6, summon 3 friendly demons inside this game. I think there's a lot of demons that are decent. I think this is not one of the not as good primes, but I think it's still a solid card. Caladan the Breaker, 6 mana, 3/3 Battlecry, destroy a minion. If drawn this turn, instead destroy all minions except this one. This card's very powerful. Destroy a minion with a body for 6 mana is powerful. Like, it can It can be anything. Like, it can be not targetable by spells, so it looks a little underwhelming, but it's a very powerful control card. And if you, it's like, it's not Deathwing, but like, it's like a Nether, but better if you can play it the turn you draw it. I mean, click there. Imprisoned, Wrap Imp, 2 mana, 3/3, dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, you have only in your hand. 2. In a control deck, I think this is very powerful. Because you can get an incredible swing with it. But the meta might be quicker than that. It depends. There's a lot of powerful early game cards and a lot of powerful late game cards, and I don't know which is gonna win out in this next meta. But I think this is one of the better dormant ones because it's cheap and it has a powerful effect. Like +2/+2 is a lot. Shadow Council. Oh man, imagine pairing this with the, like, you play this like the turn before they're about to all get buffed. Shadow Council, replace your hand with random demons, give them +2/+2. I think the demons are decent, especially like the ones for Demon Hunter. And you can get those when you play this card. So because of the stats, which are like +2, like Embiggen showed us, like +2/+2 is insane. I think Shadow Council is an auto draft. Because like Flame Imp is just a 1 mana 5/4. I think this card is insane. Like, we don't have Howlfiend in rotation. I think this card is it. But again, it's an luckily this one's an epic. But yeah, it's insane. It's I think it's like on the same level of it as Embiggen, potentially. The Dark Portal, 4 mana, draw minion. If you have at least 8 cards in your hand, it costs 5 less. Okay. 5 cards in your hand is pretty. Like, if you could get Twisted Knowledge into like the 7 mana sprint 4/4, it would be easier. But I think having 8 cards in your hand is pretty hard. I don't think it'll be as good. But Warlock is getting some good tools. Nightshade, Matron, and a Golden is an insane combo. The Legendary is insane. Imprisoned Scarab Imp is solid. And Shadow Council is insane. I think Enhanced Dreadlord is not as good as people will think it will be. Like, Furious Etten was absolutely worthless because of Burly Shovel Fist, which is coming back in. Like, you didn't want Furious Etten because it would just get eaten. Although, like, the second half of this goes back and kills it, but still. I think this card will be overrated by people. It is sticky, though. There's that. But yeah, I think Warlock is getting help. And I think it'll be a good class. So the final class, before we go on to the neutrals, is Warrior. Imprisoned, Gangard. 1 mana 2/2, dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, equip a 2 axe, which I assume is a Fiery War Axe since they don't show us the card. So 1 mana, equip the Fiery War Axe in 2 turns. I think that's pretty good. Like, on turn 1, this card is very powerful. Like, you get a body and an axe, and because you get to use the axe. Okay, yeah. Factory Direct Fiery War Axe, please offer 2 turns. Recovery is the it will literally be a Fiery War Axe. The flavor text. Like, you get to use the axe right away, so I think this is a good card. And it's a common, so I think we'll see it a lot. Blade Storm, 3 mana, deal 1 damage to all minions, repeat until 1 dies. So basically the exact opposite of Defile. Very powerful. good for gigantic boards, and you do trades to set it up similarly, but the exact opposite of the file. You try to get everything to the same health versus like counting health. Um, so I think it's very powerful. But again, an epic, so I won't see too much of it. Blood Boil Brute, 7 mana, 6/8 rush, costs 1 less for each minion. I think a 7 mana 6/8 rush is okay by itself. So, um, yeah, it's just a solid card. Like Amani Warbear was a 5/7 with rush. So, yeah, that's just a good card. That can even be more insane. Trap Golem, 5 mana, 4/5, taunt, death rattle, gain armor equal to this attack. So this is, it's basically just, what is that card called? From Witchwood. That just heals you for 4 when it dies. Rotten Apple Bomb. Yeah, it's just Rotten Apple Bomb, but a class card. I guess armor is technically slightly more valuable than healing, although Plate Breaker isn't, so. But, yeah. It's just a Rotten Apple Bomb, so an okay card. Might be slightly below average. Corsair Cash. Or Cachet. I don't know how to say that. 2 mana, draw a weapon, give it +1/+1. I think it's solid. But not exactly sure what weapons are in. But if you get the Lackey weapon, I think that it'll be insane. And it's good for most weapons. It's just whether you can handle a 2 mana tempo loss. But I think it's an okay card. A Bone Chewer Raider, 3 mana 3/3. If there is a damaged minion, gain +1/+1. And Rush. So it can be a damaged minion on either side of the board. So it shouldn't be too hard to satisfy this condition. And a 3 mana 4/4 with Rush is very, very, very powerful. So I think this is a really good card. It might be. I could see this card being one of the cards that make it so that Warrior is not towards the bottom of win rate. It is quite powerful. And there's a lot of ways to damage minions that we'll see in the neutral card. Sword and Board. 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion, gain 2 armor. That 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion isn't great. It's okay. The armor is generally irrelevant. I don't think this is very good. War Maul Challenger, 3 mana, 1/10. Choose an enemy minion, battle it to death. This card just seems really bad to me. I don't know. There has to be uses for it. But it seems really bad. Like, it needs more. Like, you need to buff its attack. 1 attack minions just generally don't get it. So, I don't think this is good. A Bulwark of Ezanoth. 3 mana 1/4 weapon whenever your hero would take damage. This loses 1 durability. I don't think this is very good. It's interesting, but I don't think it's good. And then finally, Kargoth Bladefist. 4 mana, 4/4 rush, death rattle, shuffle Kargoth Prime into your deck. Kargoth Prime, 8 mana, 10/10 rush whenever this kills a minion game. So very powerful card. The 4 mana 4/4 rush is solid. 8 mana 10/10 rush is insane. I think it's one of the better primes. So I would say that on average, I think the Bone Chewer Raider is very powerful. The The Blood Boil Brute is very strong. Prime is awesome. Imprison Guard. Ganarj is very strong too, so Warriors getting good cards. Um, they have access to lackeys. I think they could be good this next expansion. Um, but well, I mean everything depends on appearance rates, but I would guess that they won't be the worst class. I don't think they'll be a bottom 2 class, but we'll see. Not so with Warrior is typically either way too strong or way too bad. And I think without the buckets, they're usually, but we will see. Um, one sec. No. Sorry. There we go. Sorry, there were too many tabs open. Moving on to. Actually, I'm gonna make it slightly plain. The neutral cards. So the most important ones when it comes to arena. Rustworm Cultist. 4 mana 3/3 battle cry, give other minions death rattle, summon a 1/1 demon. Seems okay, but I would say it's below average and not super relevant. Ethereal Og Merchant, 1 mana 2/1 battle cry, deal 1 damage to a minion and give it +1 spell damage. Like, you can't shoot opposing minions and kill them, so I think it's okay, but I think the +1 spell damage is never going to be relevant. I think the other Og Merchants are going to be much stronger than this one. But I mean, deal 2 mana 2/1, deal 1 damage to a minion isn't terrible. Because it's not like it's a friendly minion. Infectious Sporling, 1 mana 1/2. After this damages a minion, turn it into an Infectious Sporling. So it's kind of like it's like poisonous but polymorph form, which is interesting. I think it's okay, but it's pretty. It's very defensive. But I could see this card being really powerful. We'll see. Like you pair this with the Rush Lackey and you have a 2 mana polymorph. So I think in classes like if you can get a lot of lackeys, I think this is even more interesting. Because like late game, it'll actually be useful. So I think this card's very interesting. And it could be a sleeper of the set. Rocket, Og Merchant, 1 mana, 1/2, deal 1 damage to minion and give it Rush. So, look at that. We have a neutral way to give it Rush, chat. Already the combo has been assembled for the 2 mana polymorph. Yeah, that's insane. This card is very powerful. The Og Merchants are like lackeys. They're very strong. And I think it could make the metas very aggressive. They're very powerful, very swing. We'll see how it works. Soulbound Ash Tongue, 1 mana, 1/4. Whenever this minion takes damage, also deal that damage to your hero. So it's like a 1 mana, 1/4, deal 4 damage to your hero, at least. That seems bad, but we'll see. Like, it does help you fight for the board, That's a lot of damage to take. Because like a 2/3 is very powerful against it. So I would say I don't think this is good, but I could be proven wrong. Rustworm Initiate. So this card could be good in Warrior because you want a damage minion on board, so it might be easy to do that. But Rustsworn Initiate, 2 mana 2/2. Death Rattle summon a 1/1 Impcaster with spell damage +1. That's okay. I mean, it's a 3/3 for 2, so that's just a solid card. And the second half has spell damage, so I think that card's solid. Blistering Rot, 3 mana 1/2 at the end of your turn. Summon a rot with stats equal to this. So it's not a copy. It's with similar stats. So it's like Echoing Ooze, but worse. Oh, but it also does it every turn. So it can snowball if it lives. So it's like a control card for Paladin where you would buff it and want it to stay alive. And the living rot, it doesn't get the effect. But this one would keep making copies at the end of your turn. So it's a snowball card. And it would be 2. So so yeah, this card is just solid, I would say. Because like it's a 2/4. Like worst case scenario, it's a 2/4, and it has the upside of just winning. Like it can win the game. You'd probably not want to play Blessing of Kings on it. You would probably want to play like the 2/2, the 2 mana 2/2 on it. So it would be like 5 mana, 2/3/4s, and it has to die. The worst case scenario is understated, but it has upside. So if I don't think you would just draft it, but if you have buffs in your deck, I definitely think it's worth taking. Because like this, like the snowball will win game. And if it doesn't die, like if you're head on board, it can be powerful. Just getting like it'll summon a 1/2 every turn, like Moros, but it's also vulnerable. So I think it's interesting. A Frozen Shadow Weaver, 3 mana 4/3 Battlecry freeze an enemy. I think this is really strong. It has a strong Battlecry and it's fairly statted. Paragard Escapee, 3 mana 3/7, summon 3/1/1 Huntresses. Huntresses are 1/1s. Looks like a 3 mana 3/4. I would say that this is worse than your average 3 mana 3/4. Because like your opponent, like I would say it's worse than a Spider Tank, but not a ton worse. I think it's okay, but I would say it's below average. I mean, if boards are just going super wide and then you play this and it's already too wide, it's below average. Burrowing Scorpoid, 4 mana 5/2 Battlecry, deal 2 damage. If that kills the target, gains stealth. So it's like Fireplume Phoenix with upside of gaining stealth. And the stealth, it's not like the stealth is only for 1 turn either. So I think I think this will be awesome in Rogue with some of their stealth synergy. And it's a common. I think this card is insane. Disguised Wander, 4 mana 3/3 Death Rattle, summon a 9/1 Inquisitor. So like I think a 4 mana 3/3 Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 would be playable. I think summon a 9/1 is pretty insane. Like a lot of the time your opponent will be able to deal with it pretty easily, but the times that they can't, they take 9 damage. Um, so yeah, I think this card is very powerful. It might, I think Mage gets like a bump in win rate just because of this. Like dealing 1 damage to a minion, like, isn't always super easy to do. I think this card is very powerful. And a lot of us will probably grow to hate it. Yeah. That I don't understand. It's too much. 9 attack is too much. Dolphin Navigator, 4 mana. Man, okay, I gotta go back. Like, man, that's so strong. Yeah, I think this is like, just thinking about it. Like, if we were rating it out of 5, this would be at least a 4 or a 4.5. Like, I think it's only like a little below Twin Tyrant just because of its potential, and it's like not that bad. But okay, moving on. Dolphin Navigator, a 4 mana 4/4 battle cry. Give your other Murlocs +1. It's understated, and Murlocs tend to not be great, so not good. Waste Warden, 5 mana 3/3, deal 3 damage to a minion, and all other minions of the same minion type. Which will also be your own minion. But other than Beast, I don't see this working very well. I guess sometimes it'll work on Murlocs. I would say that this card is below... Well, it still deals 3 damage to a minion. So 5 mana, 3/3, deal 3 damage to a minion is okay. But sometimes you have to be careful, because like if you have Beast and he has Beast, it'll hurt you. I think it's okay. It's actually probably good. Alright, it's okay. Potentially awesome, but usually okay. Dragon Maw, Skystalker. 6 mana, 5/6, Death Rattle, summon a 3/4 Dragon Rider, which I assume is Spider. It's pretty fair stats. I think it's just a solid card that can fill in the curve. Scavenging Shivara. 6 mana, 6/3, deal 6 damage, randomly split among all other minions. So it's like a Mad Bomber, but it only hits minions. So you can control it more. So this is it's a pretty powerful control tool. I think it's strong. Because like you can set up your opponent so that all he has is like a 6/6 on the board, and then you play this and it kills it. So I think it's strong. Bone Chewer Vanguard, 7 mana, 4/10 taunt. Whenever this minion takes damage, gain +2 attack. I think with like the Og Merchants, this card could be okay. We will see though. That is a lot of life for a 7 cost minion. So I think this card could be a sleeper. I don't think most people will think it's that good, but I think it could be a sleeper. We'll see. Rusted Raider, 5 mana, 1. 8 taunt rush, battle cry, gain +4 attack this turn. That's pretty strong. The 5/8 the turn you play it, and then it's but you mostly use this for removal. Neutral removal is pretty strong, so I think this card is okay. It's anti-aggro / control, I would say. And it'll protect your other minions still. So I think this card is solid. Bone Chewer Brawler, 2 mana, 2/3. Taunt, whenever this minion takes damage, gain +2 attack. The 2/3 with taunt. I don't think the gaining attack will be very relevant. It doesn't have a lot of health. Overconfident Orc. 3 mana, 1/6 while at full health, or with taunt while at full health has +2 attack. I still like in Priest this might be okay. Um, I I think this card could be solid, but like you can't really heal him up. So we will. 3 mana 1/6 isn't like the worst thing in the world, and it should get the one first hit off. But like you can ping it. It's pretty hard to judge this card. I would say. I would guess it. My guess is that it's slightly below average, but I think it can be okay. Uh, Guardian Og Merchant. 1 mana, 2/1, deal 1 damage to a minion, and give it Divine Shield. I think this card is insane. It's similar to Death Speaker, except you have to deal 1 damage to the minion. But generally, dealing 1 damage to the minion to give it a free value trade isn't going to be insane. I think the Og Merchants are going to be so powerful, and I think it'll actually get incredibly frustrating in Arena, to be honest, because everything's going to be able to trade into, like, the turns are going to be incredibly swingy, like, from the start of the game. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I think it might favor Rogue incredibly well, and Demon Hunter. I think those classes are going to be insane. This card is so powerful. Like, I don't even... There's a chance that it's like Twin Tyrant level power. Like, that you just auto-pick it. It's so strong. And 1 mana. That's probably overhyping it. But I think it is very powerful. Supreme Abyssal, 8 mana, 12/12. But so yeah, so saying that about this card is only if the meta is really, really aggressive, it would be like that. But only in that case. It's because it's basically just a lackey that's also taking up a card in your deck. Supreme Abyssal, 8 mana, 12/12, can't attack heroes. It's a lot of stats, so it should be solid. Scrapyard Colossus, 10 mana, 7/7. Taunt, Death Rattle, summon a 7/7 with Taunt. I think it's too slow, but it's powerful. Replicatotron, 4 mana, 3/3. At the end of your turn, transform a neighbor into a copy of this. This is below average. You don't, I mean, in a lackey class,